You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. London time, and we'll be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and many more. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, and your host, Philip Griffiths.
Hello everyone and welcome to Tech for Tech Tech Talk. This is a live show where we help your IT business grow, and if you couldn't see, that was Cormac either waving or having some sort of breakdown. I'm not too sure which one it was, but there we go. Today's show is Christmas tips and tricks, or marketing, or information about how to build computers for Christmas, or whatever you want. Basically, it's about Christmas. And if you haven't seen the links I've posted in Facebook, make sure you click that chat.restream.io/FB link so your name is shown in chat. So if you can hear us and you can see us, please comment and also tell us who you are, basically, so we can give you a shout out. So obviously, if you work for ABC Computers, say, hey, I'm Bob from ABC Computers. Right, okay, let's go around the room first. I think we've lost Tim, so first of all, we'll go to Cormac. So Cormac, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and give us some sort of story or tip or advice for today.
Hello, the world. I'm Cormac from Ireland, the unofficial king of Ireland in my head, across Avon Computers. And it's all good in the hood with me. I have a couple of tips. The first one is, and actually we got a lot of customers today from a Facebook campaign again, and I'll come on and beat the same drum every week. People are just saying Facebook isn't working. Facebook will work. Everyone wants to shop local. Go for Facebook. It'll get you. It'll get you there. Just doesn't matter what you do. Just put up something. Get your name out there. Facebook will work way better than Google Ads free. Off you go. Facebook. Also, vote for Cross Haven Computers in the Tech for Tech Awards. We want to win an award for social media. So, Phil, you're meant to talk about the awards there. That's an intro to you. But the other thing, actually, one that might have came in, I'm all into Cloud Dolphin for backup. That's who I use for backup. Very, very happy, making money off it. Very, very happy with it. There's but for customers that I don't want to manage the backup or something came in to me just there a half an hour ago. I used to use a service called iDrive. It's grand for home backup and stuff that you don't want to manage, in the sense, look, there's a package, there's a backup. I'm not responsible for your backups if you have nothing monitoring their computers. But they used to do a little bit of a commission, a couple of quid every quarter you would get off them. But I'm just looking now, they just launched a new bounty program. You can earn $40 one-time commission for everyone you sign up, and customers get 90% off their sign up. So if you would to give it to customers, home customers coming in, that means they would probably get backup for a year for like €10 or something, and you'll make 40 quid off it. That's a nice one. Because that's grand for people doing residential, and they don't want to get involved in saying, oh, look, you've done a backup, but you're responsible. A one-off purchase for people, and say, sorry, we'll put it in, but we're not responsible for your software. Off you go. So that's kind of a nice one, really. So yeah, that's my tips of the week. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. I'll give the TechMax and the awards a shout out in a few minutes. But first of all, let's go over to Peter. So, Peter, if you'd like to just introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are, what you do, and any tips, stories, advice for us today.
Yeah, I'm Peter from ScanStation Computers. We're an independent retailer. We sell new computers, we repair computers, and we support businesses. We're based on the south coast near Bognor Regis. My news this week, I'll take the obvious one. Intel have launched their 12th gen processors. It's a brand new architecture with a mixture of performance and efficiency cores. They're just launching their K and KF series SKUs now. We should get reviews and the stock on the 4th. And there'll be DDR5 launching as well. And it'll be interesting to see the third-party reviews to see what the performance is like compared to the Ryzen. So that's quite exciting, really. There'll be a bit of competition in the high-performance space on the desktop now.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good, to be honest. And it was one of my tips I was going to say, but you've stole it as usual. But yeah, I have seen a few leaked performance things, but obviously the leaked things aren't always 100% reliable. But they do look like they're going to be quite promising, and at least give Ryzen processors a bit of a run for the money for a short term anyway, until at least January or whatever. And it'd be interesting to see if they bring out new SSDs for the PCI Express 5, because if that's the case, yeah, that'll be about what? The latest ones go up to about 7,400, I think they are. So 5 should be like 15,000 or something megabytes a second. Should be pretty quick. Yeah, that's if they can make them that quick. So, right, let's move over to Tim then. So, Tim, if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, and give us some tips or story for today.
Hi, thanks, Phil. Tim from TM and IT Solutions. I do home and business, full support, software, hardware, gaming rigs, really whatever the local market's looking for, and the business to business support along with it. So yeah, I think I'd say my big tip for certainly coming into the current season, Christmas, is don't underestimate investing in building some test kit, for example. So build a we'll say an entry level, a mid level, and if you can get the high level graphics cards without breaking the credit card, then give them an idea. Just set an example and just say, right, you've got this, but that's what is realistic. Good customer service 101 day, telling them realistically what they're going to get for their money before. And the best thing, if it's there and it works, they can even try it out. So it will do what they want it for in the first place.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Some good advice there from everyone. Right, it seems like a few people are having issues commenting and so forth. I've had a few messages. Well, not much I can do about Facebook. What were you saying about Facebook not working, Cormac? Typical. Either they've not got the notification or they can't comment. Obviously, if you can hear, obviously you can also watch us on YouTube. I'm just going to put the shortcut for that in chat so everyone can see if they need to view us on YouTube instead. But the link's there. For some reason on our end, it shows every time I post something, it shows me 3 times, but when I look at the actual video screen, it's only showing it once. So there's all sorts of little bugs going off tonight. Right, so first of all, let's go through who I am. So I'm Phil from Tech for Techs, also Chips Computers, own a retail store, and the usual, to be honest with you, I do all the repairs, builds, and stuff like that. Also do call-out service. But Tech for Techs is the main thing why I'm here. Obviously, we're a business which helps other IT businesses grow in a community, as well as marketing, as well as reviewing products and stuff like that as well. And we're also got an awards coming up later this year. So you can still vote at the moment for, or should I say nominate people for the awards until probably around about a week's time. In a week's time, the nominations will close and then the voting will open. We'll do each section at a time. So voting for vendors, then voting for distributors, and then voting for independents. And once all the results are excuse me, once all the results are in, we'll have a live show, which is on, I can't even remember what day it's on now. Let me just double check. Cormac got me there. So it's on the 9th, I think it was. Yeah, the 9th of December at 8 o'clock. We'll be having a live show and we'll be announcing who's basically won, who's the best of the best. So make sure you tune in then. My story of the day was about the the Intel processors, not the graphics cards. But obviously, Peter beat me to that one. But another thing I did note down was regarding Windows 11. So apparently, the market share for Windows 11 is now up to roughly 5%, which I think is not bad actually, considering it's only been 3 weeks. So 5% is pretty good in less than a month. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite a high market share within a year. So, but again, the free upgrades has probably helped. But again, there's only so many people who have been able to do it, down to obviously machines not being compatible, obviously via CPUs and other issues. But let's get on to the main topic now. So this topic was actually Cormac's idea because he likes talking about computers because he knows everything about the internal components of computers, and that's why he wants to tell us all about it. So I'm going to start off with Cormac. So Cormac, what do you want to tell us about these Christmas tips and tricks and different things you're going to be doing for Christmas then?
Well, I'm dying to know what a CPU is and a graphics card. I would love if someone would share that information with me sometime. Just about Windows 11, and we have not got one customer asking about Windows 11. Nothing, which is great. Which is great at the moment because I don't want to put it into any machines or anything. Yeah, I will tell you why I wanted this topic because one, I wanted to pick people's brains and because you're further down the business line than me, and I also wanted to explain what way I think I'm going to handle the Christmas market and what way it's all going. To begin with, about the Christmas market, which should be starting now. I'm investing a lot of time and a lot of money in Shop Local. All my advertising campaigns, we're in the kind of villages around here. First time ever I'm even advertising in a local kind of newspaper and stuff because why? Because if I'm trying to shop local and encourage people to do, I should spend my money locally in Christmas. I'm going to be making a post about where my Christmas presents. I'm going to buy all local around here, and also I think there's a golden opportunity at this time that people really want to support local after what's after going through, and for the first time ever. I'm going to go do some traditional marketing. I'm getting a billboard in the village. The billboard, I think, for the month is going to cost €700 plus VAT. There's only one thing, better than me and my team, and that's 10-foot high pictures of me and my team. So we're going to have a big billboard. It's going to be us smiling local and. It's not just going to be a picture. I know it's going to sound a bit tacky, but it's kind of like we haven't done. The first bit of it is like the best present you can give this Christmas is to shop local. Now, of course, the best present you can give is probably money to the poor or something like that. But it's like that, and then we have our names. It's a nicer drive to Crosshaven than the city. That's a dig at people going to, you don't want to go up to PC World, you want to come down to us. And I'm well known around the village, grew up around there. So that's it. That's what I'm going because I'm trying to get my business away from just doing, I'll be selling refurbed laptops, but I'm after getting into selling new laptops and new equipment and all that. Now, I'm after making a decision as well that I'm not going to try to compete with the PC Worlds and those, since I have no interest in selling those crap laptops for the £400 mark. I told we gave up with 2 weeks ago. We told every customer we're not repairing those hinges on those HPs anymore. There's no point. They're made too cheap. They shouldn't have been made in the first place. They're wasting money. So we're wasting our time. So I decided I'm going to kind of go for the more bespoke experience. We'll talk to the customer. Customer will tell us what they want, and I will buy the laptops and bring them in that way. They'll be slightly more of a cost. We'll have them set up for them, but at least every time they ring, they pick up the phone. They're getting personal service. They're doing this. I'm also this week, even for the standard laptops, anyone who wants to buy one has to give a deposit. I have 2 laptops I bought for people there 2 weeks ago, and it's still sitting on my shelf. You know, we'll say my outlay is, we'll say £1,000, and then whatever it was, that's cash sitting down there. Why? They're in no rush to come and pick up their laptops. Well, I tell you what, if they had been given a £300 deposit each of them, they'd be like, it's just affecting my cash flow, you know. So you can come to Crosshaven Computers. We will pick out a computer. We will put proper antivirus on it. We'll do it properly. We'll transfer your data. We'll do it all, and that's it. I'm not competing with the lower market, you know. But without it, I think every one of our smaller shops are going missing a point if we don't bang home shop local, and shop local. It's how we win. It's how we win. We don't want to win on prices, because that means we're not getting great margins, and we're also selling crap. Every time even the meshes that we're putting into houses now and stuff, we decided we're only going to buy the high-end meshes. Yes, it's going to be more expensive for the customer, but we're only selling premium stuff. I don't want to sell crap. I just want to get a name of, yeah, these are the best. They might cost slightly more. They answer their phone. If there's any problems, they're back there. There's a reason they have all those 5-star reviews, and that's what we're pushing. Now, I'm going to let the lads chat, but if anyone's watching this show, there's one of the reasons I asked, kind of requested that these gentlemen might be on the show as well. We're also selling gaming machines, okay? Now, Tim is my builder and the engineer, and he's outstanding. But we're having an issue, and we're having a talking about when mothers or fathers are ringing up for gaming machines for the 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-old kids, whatever. We're wondering, because we can't figure out where you can get a sweet spot price for that and still sell a good machine. So we're at the choice. We made the decision that we can't sell. You know, they just want you can't sell a good gaming machine for 500-600 quid. I just can't. Maybe he can. Maybe he has ideas. Or more importantly, this is my first year in the gaming market at Christmas. I would like to know how people are doing it. So if you get a chance after your own marketing, you might talk about that, please.
Okay, some definitely things to think about there. And yeah, a gaming machine for £400-500. I don't think you can get a graphics card for that price at the moment, let alone the rest of the machine, to be honest with you. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But have you ever thought about just charging full amount up front, Cormac, rather than asking for a deposit? We used to do deposits, always had problems, changed it 100% up front before we order anything in for them. And to be honest, you get one or two grumble, but then again, if they go anywhere else, they go to PC World, they've got to pay up front if they're going to order it. Yeah,
I tell you what, I just changed my decision, and we might be asking for it all up front, really. Yeah. That was just and this is one of the things about being on a show like this. We can hear ideas from you, you know.
That's it. I don't know if Peter or Tim do the same, but for us it is full amount up front if ordering something.
Yeah. If it's a special order item and it's a customer, we don't know. We would want payment up front. If it's a stock item, we might take a deposit. Very rarely have we ever been messed around by anyone after taking a deposit for something. But generally, most people will be happy to pay. If we're setting a machine up, it will be ready within a day normally anyway. So we normally say, look, let's just pay it, get it done now, and most people don't have a problem with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, likewise. Okay, cool. If it's a customer that a brand spanking new customer, I ask full money up front. I don't do credit. I don't offer credit to people. Then I cover my expenses, and if there's any problems with it after, at least I know there's no argument's sake, and I'm not left with a bill for parts that if they don't like it. So, yeah, simple as that, really.
No, that's good. Yeah, Jessica. Hi, Jessica. She's saying I'd ask for all up front, like for a pre-order. If they really want it, they'll buy it or offer Sezzle. I'm not sure what Sezzle is. Sale or Sezzle or PayPal. Buy now, pay later. I've not used Sezzle. Anyone here used Sezzle before?
Nope.
It might be a US thing, possibly.
Maybe, I'm not sure of that one, but thanks for the comment, Jessica. At least we know chat is actually working tonight.
Yeah,
It seemed a little bit quiet.
To us. That's good.
Yeah, if anyone else is watching, feel free to comment, say where you're from. If you've got a store, make sure you shout, basically let us know and we'll give you a shout out on the show. We know Facebook is having quite a few issues at the moment. So, oh, here we go. Here we go. We've got a few things popping up now. So, hi, Robert. It's a little bit laggy and a bit all over the place. Chat is at the moment. So hi Robert, evening, and let's have a look. We've got another comment here coming in. Just a thought, but for real costly kit, do you guys do a laneway style so they can pay in 6 months leading up to Christmas? Last payment ended December. We tried doing something like that a few years ago, and we found it caused more issues than it was worth. And we're finding that people were coming in giving us like 50p a week and stuff like that. And it was like, no, it might work for some people, but for us, it didn't.
Yeah, I think.
What about yourself, Peter and Tim?
Yeah, so I tried it to start with, and all I think I only had. Thankfully, it only happened but this one person's enough to stop me doing it. Yeah, they just decided, right, I'm going to stop paying it, and then they still expected the thing at the end of it. Yeah, could essentially would have been out of pocket for it if I'd given them that machine. Going forward, I'd never see the money. So tried it. It's a nice idea, but you've got to really have trust the customer that they're going to stick to it.
I don't see the point. I don't see the point, to be honest with you. There's nothing we're selling today that's going to be the same in 6 months anyway. Yeah. I'd just tell the customer to save their money up themselves, stick it in their piggy bank or a space on their bank or whatever. But we're never taking orders for something 6 months down the line. No way.
Yeah. Also find that usually if they can't do something like that, or they want to do something like that, is it because they can't get approval to have something like a credit card or something like that, which generally means they've got money issues as well sometimes. So I might be wrong, but that's the way I see it anyway. But and yes, thank you, Jessica. It seems to be a US thing, the sizzle or whatever it was she was mentioning. I'll have to have a look into that in a bit. Right, okay, so. Obviously, we've been to Cormac. We haven't been to you yet, Peter, have we? We were talking about this Christmas tips and tricks, have we?
Yeah. So we're looking at what we're stocking up at for Christmas. We had quite a busy week this week, so we're quite low on stock. We've been bringing in new laptop models, printers, and it's funny, things at Christmas that go USB mains chargers, cables. People get a lot of gifts that they need chargers for. So we find literally just after Christmas, that in-betweeny period or the beginning of January, people are rushing in buying USB chargers and leads and things like that. All the accessories for presents they've got, they've got family visiting and they just want to dash out somewhere locally and grab some extra bits and pieces. All those sort of little things like that. It's worth just having them in stock. But especially with the stock situation over the past year, we've been trying to make sure that we're properly stocked up, ready. And then you can plan your mail shots, any advertising, social media. Maybe you have some focus products. So we will use MailChimp to do mail shots to our customer base. And we'll pick products and maybe do 1 or 2 mail shots a week. And we'll say, look, we're doing this Epson printer. It's in stock. Come and get it today. We've got the inks. We've got that. Or we're doing a special on this laptop. Maybe we're throwing an internet security in, but normally we'll be charging for setup with any new machine, data transfer. Quite often customers will want on-site setup as well. So we have a really good attach rate too. So we've just managed to clear out all our old Office 2019 product and brought in all the Office 2021 product. We do a lot of Office Home and Student because we've got, I would say, an older customer base. A lot of them don't want Office 365. We do sell that as well. But they like the perpetual license Office Home and Student. So we do loads of those. I would say 70 or 80% of the new computers we sell, we attach Office. 80 or 90% we attach internet security as well. Most will have setup, most will have data transfer. So there's a huge setup and labor opportunity there. And it was quite nice this week. We had some customers that came and saw us a couple of weeks ago. They'd obviously been looking around. They went to Currys and they came back because they just didn't like the attitude of the staff at Currys. They didn't feel like they were going to get looked after, and they much preferred dealing with us, to be honest with you. And they knew it was going to cost them a little bit more. they were happy with that because they knew that they would get what they needed, and they didn't want any hassle. So those sort of things are really nice, and I think that's going to be useful over Christmas. Certainly, we're going to try and make sure we've got components in stock to build those gaming PCs Cormac's talking about. So normally we'll build maybe a couple of display machines, low end sort of i3s, 1050 Ti graphics. We'll have other graphics cards on the shelf. We'll have 1650s, 3070s, 3080s, those sort of things, and all the cases, CPUs. So we could build any bespoke machine, but for a sort of £700-800 machine, we'll have something sort of ready to go on the shelf. And if people want to customize it, we'll either customize it or build one from scratch. Normally, we can turn it around within a day. So if you can get the parts and hold the parts, it's useful, because some people will buy spare at the moment. If you say, look, you can have whatever PC you want out of all the bits we've got here. They feel like they're getting a bespoke custom product. They can come back and pick it up the next day generally. And we find that's really useful. You know, sometimes if you say to someone, look, it's going to take a week, 2 weeks, they'll just might go home, go online and order something online. So if you can say, look, you can have something today or you can have something tomorrow, completely bespoke, that's just really, really useful. You know, that helps drive sales, I find.
Yeah, some good advice there, to be honest with you. I'm going to say, especially the January things as well. We tend to find we sell a lot of times more in January than we do in December. A lot of people are usually they'll leave it till January, think everything's going to be cheaper because it's after Christmas, which generally isn't the case. But
they might have Christmas money.
That's it. What about yourself, Tim? What do you do for Christmas, or find how things work for you?
Right. One thing I always make sure is the thing Cormac said about using the more traditional, we'll say older style promotion, like billboards, leaflet runs, that kind of thing. There's I use a guy who I work with, I do bits for. He does leaflet drops, that kind of thing. So I've got him do it. So he goes round, covers the local area with leaflet drops, as when you're saying about shop local, that kind of thing. So, and that already got people bringing like repairs into me, but it's also getting people asking about new machines for Chris as well. That's just one thing that I'm doing. The other way I'm doing it is in terms of test rigs and so people can see what's inside and what they can get for their money. I try and get some of those cases that, well, they're the worst ones to hide. The ones that you got the whole clear side with a big window that's literally just perspex or something like that. So they're good for demo. Personally, I want one as my own machine, to be fair, but I've used that as a demo one. And if people, it's there and there, it's built. If someone wants to offer me the money, say, right, there it is, you want my help, then they'll pay. It covers what I paid for that as a test machine, we'll say. So I've got that's something else I do. But the key one I'm trying to do is work more with the local community. So leading up to Christmas, I'm in the process of setting up a local gaming tournament. So you'll get all the PC gamers in theory. So I organise through a local venue that where I'm going to host over off my own gaming rig, so I know it's going to handle it, and I can set all I know it's all the anti-cheat's going to be enabled, you name it. But yeah, if you want to track the gamers in to buy it and get the mums and dads to convince you know what you're talking about, you got the parents there and you got the kids there at the same time enjoying themselves. So, and that's all leading up to Christmas. So yeah, I've got plenty of bits that I'm organising and working with all the other local businesses at the same time. So, in terms of the gaming event, you got the venue, got the call it the drink promotion. I've got a local club, like social club you might call it, that has agreed that I can use their venue, which I've got already in the room. So, yeah. I'm engaging the whole community in it at the same time. I'm getting a local rep for it as well. And it's bringing in the repair side and the businesses wanting me to do their stuff because they've seen what I'm capable of. And I'm looking out for the community. I'm not looking out for one, as it were, how much money can I get out of them, we'll say.
Okay, some pretty good advice there. What was that, Cormac? Sorry?
A good idea.
Yeah. You also find that people spend a lot more money when they're happy as well, usually. Unless they're really depressed, and then sometimes they want to spend money again to make them not depressed. But
well, yeah, I mean, all right. At the gaming event as well, there's going to be a table where I'm going to have the products that they can see what they are. We'll say so. Yeah, there is the like. Okay, you like it? Here you go. This will include the charge cables, as Peter's always said. All the consumable stuff. The phone charge leads. How many times do they break last minute? People go looking for them. So yeah, it's stocking up all the essential. So kind of get the cross sales while they're there in a captive environment. It's got my name all over the event. So yeah, paid off.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to pay off for you, that's for sure. Right, let's just go for a few of the comments first before we go back round. So let's have a look. We got Robert saying about GPU shortage situation. I have Xmas special, boo, first time in a long time. So he's basically saying he hasn't got any Christmas specials because there's no GPUs. Robert, give your distributors a call or whatever. Most of them have got stock. They're hiding it in the back room, or they've got stock coming in. They can put you on a list or whatever. Just tell them that you basically got builds coming in and you basically need the graphics cards, and you can usually get stuff. I'm not saying it's going to be cheap and it's not going to be the models that you want sometimes, but there is stuff out there, but definitely not for like £400-500 gaming machines, let's put it that way. So if you're aiming probably for a grand or more, then definitely. Let's have a look. Jessica says, have you guys invested in Oculus yet? I think this one might be for you, Cormac. Everywhere in the US, it's hard to come by in places like Walmart, which is obviously our equivalent of Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's. You can also become a vendor through Walmart, sell your excess stock to the US. So, do you guys deal with Oculus at all? So, Cormac, Peter, or Tim?
Just as a user, and I've been harping on here for the last few weeks that you have to get it, you have to do it, and we have to do a meeting and a podcast in it or something. But no, I won't be selling it because we're not retail. I won't be selling. I know we're selling laptops, and if people ask me about the Oculus, yeah, but we won't be. We don't sell. I know Oculus is a big purchase, but we don't sell chargers and that sort of stuff. So Oculus, no, they can buy that off Facebook. I understand where Jessica's saying there could be a resale value on it and all that, but no, I won't be investing my time in that. But I definitely feel for a business sense, people need to get onto Oculus because there is something happening there, and there's some big stuff happening in the business world with it. Now, the lads might be better at selling it in their shops, but I don't know what way that goes.
Okay. What about yourself, Peter? Do you do much in the way of VR, selling any VR tech?
We don't really resell any. I don't think Oculus has got much of a channel program from what I understand it. I think they only have a couple of select resellers, but we have had a few occasions where people have bought it, rocked up and said, hey, my computer doesn't run this. Why? It's a really good Pentium with 2 gig of RAM. We've ended up having to build a computer that meets the spec, and we'll sit there with them and say, look, this is the minimum spec, which your computer won't do. Here's the recommended spec. What's your budget? We'll build you a PC that will run it. So we've had a few big customers rock up with Oculus and HTC Vive, where we've had to build computers to actually run it for them where they've not been able to. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much similar to us, to be honest with you. It's quite a few people with like integrated graphics or whatever. They haven't got a dedicated graphics card, and they suddenly go, oh, this Oculus doesn't work, or they don't have the connections or something daft like that. Because even in today's standard, I think back when it first came out, you needed, was it a 970 graphics card or something like that? So it's quite powerful.
Jessica just came in and said that it's upgraded and doesn't require a computer, but see, it does in a sense, Jess. You can play an awful lot of games without a computer with it, but you do need a computer if you want to play things like Half-Life and certain games, you need to link it into the computer, which are high graphics games. But she's just as right. You can play great games without it, but you do need a high-end PC if you want to play games that like render. Alex, I think for Half-Life is probably one of the best games out there. We got it there, but you definitely need to link that into your PC through a Type-C cable, actually. But yeah, you need a PC for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Do you do much in the way of VR, Tim?
I've had my local market, not really a huge amount of interest, we'll say. I think part of that is when, dare I say, mums and dads buying it for the kids. And quote one of them, they once said, well, I made the mistake, my son had to put something together that I buy for him off of what you're on YouTube, for example. And the kid mistook, I think, dollars for pounds, etc., etc., I think we'd say. So, yeah, I got the interest coming my way. If people ask, yes, I'll get it for them, and it is something I'm going to try and look into. We'll say new ranges that are available, but it's not something I'm yet going to go main for until it's maybe got more interest on it. So if people ask for it, yes, it's available, but I'm not going to go buying it, for example, and they just sits there gathering.
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't think of any, or not that I know of, any of the main distributors sell it, to be honest with you. So it's pretty much the cheapest you'll get it for is what it is online, to be honest with you.
I have a question
even if
guys. Are you gamers yourselves?
I am.
And how come what Pete and Phil, are you gamers? Like, do you have time to game?
The answer to that for me is yes, I am. If I have the time, is probably the best thing to do. The way to put it. So I think the most recent game I probably played is one called Scum, which is a survival type game, first person, third person. But generally, when I play games, it's usually more of your like strategy type games, like Total War and stuff like that. So even though my machine is designed or I've made it for being a creator's machine, shall we say, it is capable of playing games as well. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, in terms of, I say myself, I'd still do the online, like Rainbow Six Siege. A lot. So recently, I've been replaying half the Crisis series games, but with the remastered graphics, that kind of thing. But yeah, I do the online, a lot of the online newer games. Well, as you said, Phil, when I get chance between getting stuff done for myself and looking after my kid.
Yeah, you don't.
So
you don't hear that saying too much these days. Can it play Crisis?
Oh yeah.
So I play some games, very occasionally, same as you guys, I guess. Few hours maybe on a Sunday morning. Single player stuff, not really multiplayer. Like the new Doom games, like the new Wolfenstein games. I'm trying to have a go at the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but I don't have that many hours in my year. But yeah, that's get a few hours here and there.
Play that, yeah.
Now, the reason I was asked, I would have thought you would have got the VR headset for yourselves at this stage just to try it. Eh? Maybe. Yes.
What was that? Sorry, Cormac. Sorry again.
I thought you would have bought the Oculus just to try it at this stage.
I've used the Oculus. I've used it a few times at different trade shows and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but for me, it's more of a novelty, to be honest with you. I think it's a bit one of those things like when you're watching a TV, going to see a movie, they put all the special effects in, but they forget to put the story in it. I prefer something with a story in it rather than all the special effects. But again, don't get me wrong, I'm not against it. And I've set plenty up for people. I must admit, though, most of the people who want it were slightly elderly gentlemen, usually. I'm not sure what they were using it for, but I'm pretty sure they weren't playing Counter-Strike. But yeah, you can find a few strange things out there. But yeah, I must admit, it's not something. I think when it first came out, I was like, oh yeah, I need to get this, because it's been a few years now, the first Oculus, and I was like, but I used it a few times. I thought, yeah, it's all right, but it don't really do much for me, to be honest.
Yeah, like I said, I've used it. A friend of mine's got one, so I played online game Elite Dangerous, which is an online space flight sim with it, and yeah, it's amazing. But I say, if I bought one, I would have to get permission from the missus, or I would probably get get in trouble if it suddenly mysteriously appeared. Put it that way. But yeah, it's on my list to get at some point. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Another thing to mention is obviously if you're getting something like this, you make sure you've got plenty of room to play with it, because it needs quite a bit of floor space. And one thing, obviously, in the States, generally compared to the UK, you've got a hell of a lot more floor space than us. Over here, it's generally a bit more cramped. But yeah, so that's a definite. So let's move on slightly from VR. We'll come back to the questions in a few seconds. What else do you guys, or what questions have you got regarding Christmas? Let's just say Cormac, for example. I know you wanted to ask some questions about Christmas, what we do, certain things and stuff like that.
Well, they tell about the gaming machines, all right? Is that right? We'll say you can't bring a decent machine in under £1,000, okay? You can't, okay? I don't know. We're just pulling figures there, okay? Something that you want to stand over, you want to do this. But we'll say one of the things that we're being asked for gaming machines for kids who are 11, 12, 13, okay? Now, where we're putting up, where we're trying to figure out was like, okay, we can't put in graphics card of that, anything into that, like. But where we were talking, and Tim, the gent who works with me now, would be a way better conversationalist than me on this one. My idea was, Tim, could we build them a basic machine, but where they can add in parts over the year? So this year, they get a basic machine, maybe lads, and you shoot me for what I'm saying there, maybe they can play Minecraft, maybe they can play, what's that other one very popular where there's 100 of them playing?
Fortnite.
Anyway, sorry?
Yeah. Fortnite's the other one they all love playing.
Maybe we can, and this way you could sell it to the moms and dads. We sell you kind of a shell. We sell you a proper functioning computer. But as the kid grows from Minecraft to wanting to play Red Dawn, Redemption, whatever he wants to play, he will need a graphics card next year. So is it possible to build a machine and say, yes, we can put in a graphic, and next Christmas buy him a graphics card for the 500 quid, then now you have a £1,000 machine.
Yeah, I believe the Ryzen, with the new Ryzens with graphics, are probably your best bet for integrated graphics. If you want, they can even play some games, even more so than Roblox and Fortnite.
Yeah, they can do Fortnite, Minecraft without even having a graphics card in.
Yeah, so that could be a way.
Yeah,
that could be a way to get reoccurring business off them. Then you're being honest, because I'm seeing these ads popping up online, and they have the machines, and they're flashing, they have the lights and blah blah blah, all for $4.99. You're thinking they're not gaming machines, they're just flashing light machines. Where if we have tell the parents, look, you're going to have to spend 500-600 quid. Really, you have to spend 1,200 quid, but we know you have 3 kids, that's not going to happen. Maybe spend 500 quid, and then next year, or his birthday, he can get a graphics card and put it in there. And if his interest of gaming is still building, then he can build and get himself a little summer job, and off he goes, or whatever. That's my idea anyway. Is it a crazy idea?
No, not at all. That's probably quite safe with the shortage of graphics cards right now.
Yeah.
And then you've got the slot is free, ready for it when he can afford it.
Yeah. So I'm going to write that idea.
Have you ever seen the TV show Only Fools and Horses?
Where do you think I hold my business skills, boy? Okay. Where do you think I hold?
think of Trigger's broom.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
thinking of, man.
That's what a computer is. You can change every part in it pretty much. And it's a complete different machine after a few years. Obviously, there are certain points it gets to a point where upgrading it may be not cost effective. For example, the new processors are what are coming out. For example, let's just say the 12th gen Intel processor comes out. They want a 12th gen. It won't fit in an old motherboard. Then they may need new memory as well at the same time. So sometimes you get to the point where you're pretty much changing everything but the case. So within reason, yes, everything can be upgraded. But you can,
limit, we'll say 3 years that it can be
yeah.
upgraded. But
if you're going to sell a machine like
for life.
If you're going to sell a machine like that, the way we do it is make sure it's got a good enough power supply in it, because that's usually one of the first things what you need to swap out when you get a graphics card. Is a lot of the cheap machines only have like a 400 watt power supply in, and it's usually a cheapo brand what no one's ever heard of, or budget brand. Make sure you get a decent brand, at minimum a bronze power supply at a 750. And again, when I say minimum, obviously it depends on how high they go. Obviously, if they end up going one in a top end graphics card, what's going to cost them $3,500, they might need a slightly better power supply. But generally, that should cover most people.
Yeah, but can just come up with a fancy term for it.
What was that, Tim? Sorry.
I was going to say, what you're describing, Cormac, is pretty much what I've been doing for the past 15, 20 years with my own gaming. And I got to the point where I was upgrading all the components, but the key thing was eventually all the new stuff that generates more heat, it needs more coolant, more airflow. So I've gone as far as having to allow for a new case eventually, for example, to a full tower. So that kind of approach does work, but you have to allow for key things airflow, and that's the thing, and space. I think that's the key thing. I mean, graphics cards, some are absolute monsters, some are the size, just a circuit board, aren't they? So it really depends on what the end goal is, really.
That's it. Yeah. And you'll probably find that by the time you get 3 years down the line, they'll probably just want to replace the whole machine anyway.
They will, and then you sell them a machine.
Yeah, and then you get their old machine off them, and then you can refurbish it and sell it for something else, or do something else with it. And that's always an option. Or they can keep it and use it as a second machine. Right, let's just go quickly through some of the comments. So Jessica just mentioned, so what if you offer service like a club, similar to how they do contract on phones? You pay monthly, after so much you're allowed an upgrade. Problem is with that for us, Jessica, at least in this country, is there's lots of financial rules and regulations and so forth you have to sign up to, and so it may not be so easy and may cost us more to do it, because obviously if we were to go bust, then the customer would lose the money. There has to be insurance with it, so there are lots of issues regarding that. I don't think that's anything you do either, is it, Peter or Tim?
No.
So it's a good idea, but I'd suggest you check your local rules and regulations where you are. You might be, obviously, I know the states tend to be different in each state, different rules, regulations, and sometimes even per county and so forth. So double check that first. So let's have a look. So we've got a question asking what square footage of your retail premises should be dedicated to Xmas stuff. That's a good question. So let's go to you, Tim, because I know you've got a store, obviously. What percentage of your store is dedicated to Christmas stuff?
In terms of, I'll call it seasonal promotion, call it promotion space, I think. I say allowing for other bits that I have as current stock. I think it's probably, I would say, 25 to 30%, I would say, of the space, roughly. But that only allows for, if I've got new lines coming in, like recent thing, the brazen chairs, for example. I'm working with them, so I'm allowing space for their promotion stuff. So it's a field of view, for example. It just blend in with all the other bits that people have already seen. So yeah, I'd say 25-30% of the space. That's probably the safest way of doing it. You still got to allow for your main sellers of the cables, and you still need to allow health and safety at the end of the day.
That's pretty good. You got enough room for the brazen chairs, then?
I have made space for one of them, yes.
Yeah, it can take up a lot of room, gaming chairs. I'm going to say I've got a brazen chair here, what I'm sat in at the moment. They're pretty nice chairs, I must admit. So
Right.
we had them on the show a few weeks back if anyone's interested. If you want us to have a look at getting gaming chairs in and a few ideas how to, if you haven't got room to sell them, we had a good discussion about that. It was on the show a few weeks ago. You'll be able to find it. It's called Brazen something or other. What about yourself, Peter? How much not chair space, how much Christmas or seasonal space you got?
I wouldn't say we bring in anything specifically for Christmas. We'll overstock on certain lines, but I have seen some retailers, they bring in like these Christmas tree USB things or remote control cars or extra gift stuff that's not so PC related. It's not something we do. We might have more monitors, more printers. We'll just generally hold more stock than maybe we would typically during the year, just in case there is that run over Christmas. We don't get caught short with the distings being closed in between. But we don't really have any dedicated product, Xmas stuff, Christmas stuff, I would say. It's just the usual stuff, but more of, maybe a bigger selection of chargers. Laptop universal chargers are quite handy as well, because we often have, being in a retirement area, we often have family visiting their parents and grandparents, and they forget their laptop chargers or break their laptop chargers, need to dash in and get those quickly. So just make sure you've got a good selection of all your normal stuff, and have maybe a little bit extra just to cover. Or they sort of USB sticks, maybe a few extra ones. But we don't do anything, Christmas specific, Christmas tree themed cases or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm going to say I think we're not far off the same as Peter. I think the only thing we probably do regarding that is probably we've got a big central table which everyone has to sort of go through if they come in the store and go round to the counter. Is we generally, rather than putting like anything special on there, because we've tried all these gimmicky things in the past, like mini fridges and plug-in USB and all these different things, and to be honest, half of them end up not selling. You end up giving them away after Christmas. But what we usually do is like little bundles of things on the central table sort of thing, or counter. So like a laptop, a bag and security all in one, or something along that lines, or a gaming bundle. So keyboard, mouse, maybe speakers or a headset, usually headset most of the time these days, and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say we dedicate anything specifically for Christmas. It's just basically reorganizing for Christmas is probably the best way of doing it, because in a lot of cases, and you'll see it in most high street stores, they struggle selling the Christmas stuff, and then they'll say, oh, we only managed to sell so much Christmas stuff, and then it's all on discount after Christmas. And we don't do discounts in our store. Basically, the only discounts we do is if anything's like an open box or anything like that, or X display, but otherwise we don't do discounts on any of the products any time of the year. It's basically that price, because that's the best price we can do it for. So and that's what we say to people. We don't knock 20% off at Christmas, because otherwise we were charging you 20% too much throughout the rest of the year. So we will constantly offer you a good price. So that's how I do it. Right, okay, let's go through. Got quite a few questions coming in now, so let's have a look. So for B2B, let's have a look. Like monthly recurring revenue customers, do you give Christmas gifts? What do you like to get from your key suppliers at Christmas? What's the best thing you've received from a supplier? Let's go around the room. Do you do anything, Cormac, for Christmas, giving your big customers anything, or do they give you anything, or your suppliers?
Nope, I'm not giving them nothing, and I mean that in a nice way. We do business. I don't expect anything off them. I was on the Facebook group there during the week. I am handing out wireless chargers for phone chargers. It's costing me £2. I put a sticker on them, and they have it down next to their computers, and giving them out to as many people as I see. I give them, I give them to the delivery men and giving them to everyone, because they're cheap. They're cheap, and it's just advertising. And I just don't. I think the days I haven't seen over here for the last few years, the days of I'm not giving. That's not true. No, I gave certain people there. People who've had me in business, I give them vouchers for dinners. All right, it's not that mean. It just doesn't seem to be as much of a tradition over here anymore. I don't expect anything of them. We're good enough. I don't need to be bribing them to keep us. If they don't want to keep us, that's grand. Because we have a good relationship, but I don't need to be going in giving them a couple of £100 worth of gifts. Forget about it. There's an iPhone charger with my logo on it. Happy Christmas. That's my view. It's changed over here. Maybe English people still love each other enough that you give presents. But no, I won't be doing that.
Right. Okay. What about yourself, Peter? Do you do anything along that lines?
Do you know what? We haven't for a few years. We used to. We used to just do a couple of bottles of wine, box of chocolates. If it was a monthly customer that's sort of £300-400 contract or something like that a month, then we would do that. But we haven't actually done it for a couple of years, and no one said anything. I don't think it matters too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm sort of agreeing with you as well there, to be honest. Tim, do you do anything or?
Well, I haven't said a lot. So I'm still quite. Well, I've started up. Second Christmas. I've been up and about. So in terms of I didn't do anything last year, but then it was kind of the first Christmas, and then with everything going on, I couldn't really. There wasn't really anyone open to do it with. But I mean, this year, I was going to look at. I've got you doing something with my logo on it. We'll say that I was going to just do like a card, maybe just to say Merry Christmas or something along those lines. But to be fair, as you said, the days where it was like everyone go out and buy. I mean, I remember from working at the big corporates. Everyone on the project. I used to come home with about 3 bottles of wine or champagne, for example. So everyone on the project, this was when you were dealing with companies that were absolutely loaded. So I think at the moment, the dates, I've not really thought about doing that this year because I think everyone's just still trying to wake up, to be fair.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty much agree with you there. We're pretty much the same. We don't do anything really for Christmas other than sending out basically an email saying Merry Christmas, but that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Mainly because, well, people are a lot tighter these days. Suppliers, what have we got from suppliers recently? I think we're lucky if we get like an advent calendar, so that might have a few chocolates in it.
And
that's it.
There's also a lot. There's like rules and regulations as well. You can't, in the sense that if you're giving the person who's giving you the contracts, if you're giving them, technically you're giving her or him backhanders, man. And that's not something that I particularly want to do. But if you do really want to give someone a gift, you should. I just got one there. I got lend off someone. A robot Hoover. Did you ever have tried robot Hoover? The robot Hoovers are great. They're around 150 quid. Every morning, I come down, the little robot Hoover, it's all Back to the Future stuff going on in my house. Robert Hoover is doing its job now. It's brilliant, seriously, Robert Hoover's. But besides that, don't give backhanders.
That's it. There's lots of different things. It might be different in the US, but overall, unfortunately, in the UK, there's lots of rules and regulations about everything we pretty much do. And I think we can thank the European Union for a lot of that in years gone past. But let's go quickly through some of the others. So I'm not going to get a chance to go through every single question on here. Let's have a look. Robert says if you have stock on the shelf, it will sell. Simple as that. Yeah, it's true. We've had stock which you're not been able to sell, and you just get that one item which you can never, ever sell, and it just sits there forever. And then suddenly someone will just come in and go, "That's what I've been looking for," or "That's specifically what I want," and you're thinking, "Really? Okay, that's fine if you want it." but sometimes you do get those items. So let's have a look. Do we have Christmas parties? And how many staff? So answer that. Our store is quite small these days, so there's just the 2 of us who work in there, but we work flat out. That's probably the best way of putting it. So our Christmas party is basically well, we're husband and wife, so it's quite simple. We just go out for a meal pretty much, or we just stay in for the night. So there's not much of that. But as Tech for Techs for the group, okay, we won't be doing like a Christmas thing, but we will be getting hopefully an annual get together, obviously in the summer in June every year. So that's TechMax. If you've not heard about that, go to techmax.co.uk, or should I say techmax2022.co.uk. I'll put a link down below in a few minutes. What about yourself, Cormac? How many staff you've got these days?
4 or
And do you have a
5,
Christmas
4 or
party?
5 part-time, and no, we won't have a Christmas party because when I was working in big businesses, we all hated Christmas parties. I wouldn't subject them to they'd have to listen to me enough during the year. They can go out with whatever bonus they get and enjoy themselves. And oh God, no. Oh God, no is the answer to that for my one. And look, yeah, I know they're a good idea at times, but no.
I've never heard or seen anything good come out of a Christmas party.
Yeah.
It's usually someone gets drunk, someone ends up sleeping with someone they shouldn't do. They end up getting into a fight.
Virgin Christmas parties now. Yeah.
So, but
are you going to paint the town red?
Yeah, there's 4 of us. We normally go for a meal. So if anyone's in Chichester on the 11th of December, you may or may not see us stumbling out of a restaurant somewhere. Maybe one of our staff might be on the floor after having too many woo-woos, but I won't mention any names, Matthew. Yeah, so we just tend to have a meal these days, a few drinks, with partners as well. So just a nice thing to do, I think, if they want.
Yeah, I think if there's just a few of you, it's not too bad. It's when you start getting a really big company, then you start having a few issues with staff, probably. But what about yourself, Tim? Do you have much of a Christmas party?
Well, it's just myself. So, yeah, I don't obviously do anything as such. But there's where I live, there's all the businesses, there's the shop local and everything. There's a really big community in terms of there's a local Facebook group where if you pick all people that got their own business in the village are on there. So there's about 40 or 50. And there's talk of them trying to organise something from as more of a local business, for example. So one of them just happens to own the one local social club. So well, that's a venue sorted out, and it happens to have a bar in it. So it's but yeah, I think that's pretty much what's probably going to happen. So
I don't know. All right, let's have a quick go through. Let's have a look. So only robot hoovers are permitted then. I'm presuming that's to Cormac. Let's have a look. In the US, their prices are typically higher, and they just drop them to normal prices after Christmas. Yeah, you can get that over there. Let's have a look. These days, there are just 2 of you. Have you ever employed anyone or been bigger? If that's to me, yes, we have employed more than 2 people before. So, but we have to remember you're talking to a group of independent resellers. So the whole idea of Tech for Techs is supporting independents. Most independents are small stores. But just because you've got more staff doesn't mean you're better or worse. For example, there's only the 2 of us, and we've pretty much won more awards than a lot of bigger companies have nationally and locally. So it doesn't really matter how many of you there are of you. It's the quality of work you actually do. So it's size doesn't matter. Well, not in every sense anyway, but size doesn't matter, as in no matter how big your store is or how many feet of store you got. It's what actually you give with what you've got. And a lot of people call our store a bit like a TARDIS because it is quite small, but when you go in, you've got everything in there from laptops, PCs, gaming, printers, cables, inks, whatever you want. You've got everything in a small space, and it doesn't look a mess where some stores can do. So that gives you a good idea. So right, let's go around the room because we're pretty much at that hour. Is there anything else you want to add on there, Cormac?
No, thank you, gentlemen, for your insights. As I said, you're further down the business line. I'd like to pick your brains. So thank you. I appreciate that.
That's no problem. What about yourself there, Peter? Have you got anything else you'd like to add?
I would just like to do a call out to Robert McKendrick, Tech for Tech's member. He passed me a vendor contact. It was a vendor whose product we already sold, but the contacts helped us get on their partner program. It's been very useful. So thanks very much for that, Robert. And if I can help you find your graphics cards, I will. Still working on that. But it's very useful, you know. Everyone helps each other out. It's great.
That's pretty good. What about yourself, Tim? Anything you'd like to add?
I think we've really covered it, but I think the key thing I would say that to be emphasised is certainly with this Christmas, with things being going back to the normal shops and everything being open, is look at focus on the local community when you try and do the promotions and you want the sales, that kind of thing. I think local reps got me more business in terms of referrals, and then the businesses that approached me, for example, than anything else. And I'm not just talking in the UK; I'm talking repairs and longer term. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've say.
Okay.
What I would have to say is, yeah.
That's no problem. I had a huge list of things to talk about, and I don't think I probably mentioned hardly any of them, but I'm just going to basically read them off as bullet points. You can create a fun gift guide, what you can send an email to people. So send an email of potential gifts people may want for Christmas. You can bundle gift products together, like I mentioned, offer free shipping and returns. If you've got a website, that's really up to you if you want to do that or not. You can do things like contests on your website, like hide a little Father Christmas on one of your web pages or something like that, and whoever finds it and tells you can get a small discount or little voucher or something. You've got a popular one is what I've seen a lot of places do is like 12 days of Christmas, run up to Christmas. They mention a specific product or whatever. Again, I'm not a biggest fan of discounts, but that's an option. Obviously, update your social media, your website, and everything else for Christmas themes and stuff along that line. So puts little snowflakes on there and different bits and bobs, just like we've got Halloween in the background when we're talking about a Christmas show. Yeah, I know I'm a bit crazy, but I thought I'd mix it up for today. Obviously, there's always ad campaigns you can do, like AdWords and stuff like that, which is really up to you. And you can always partner with a charity as well, which is another way of doing it. So you could always say you'll donate so much of your proceedings to selling a certain item to charity of your choice and stuff like that. So that just gives you a few ideas. I'm glad you like to find the Santa idea. It doesn't have to be Santa. It could be someone else if you really want it to be. If you really want to scare people, you could have the devil over Halloween or whatever it may be, or something along that lines, or find the pumpkin or something. But that works all the way through the year. Anyway, let's call it a night. So if you are a tech and you are based in the UK and you would like to become a Tech for Tech's member, and it's totally free, make sure you go to the Tech for Tech's website, which I'm about to link on there. Yeah, it should come on there. So just go to techfortechs.co.uk/join. Join over 1,300 other techs just like you, including vendors and distributors. We've got the likes of people like Cooler Master in there. We've got Lexar. We've even got someone from Intel in there, which he doesn't talk too much, but he is in there. AMD and so forth. We've got them all in there. Some of them are just a little bit more voyeurish and they don't like to talk, to be honest with you. But you should find a vendor in there if you're struggling, and that goes for your distributors as well, like Target, VIP, Spire, and CMS Distribution, and a few others as well. Right. So if you are interested in joining, make sure you go to that link. And make sure you fill in the questions when you do click on that link, because if you don't fill in the questions, you won't get in. Simple as that. It's totally free. And that's as much I'm going to say about that for now. So otherwise, we'll see everyone next week. We do have a special show. It is a vendor show. Or should I say, we are going to be having Deep Cool on with Target Components. So Deep Cool, if you don't know them, they do cases, coolers, different things like that. Deep Cool, the guy who's going to be on, a lot of you may know him. His name's Ronnie. He used to work for Cooler Master not so long ago. So he will actually be on the show next week. And the week after that, we're going to have a special show about mental health. So obviously, if you're struggling due to COVID, or you're just struggling because you're a business owner and the amount of stress, we're going to have a show. We've actually got a doctor actually coming on to the show, and he will obviously be giving advice and telling you, well, I don't know what he'll be telling you, but he'll be giving you some advice and so forth. If I knew what he was going to tell you, I wouldn't be needing him. But anyway, so that's the next 2 shows coming up. Next week, Deep Cool. Week after is mental health. So, right. So, everyone, we'll see you next week. And again, it's 8 p.m. every Thursday. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you.